3, 2, 1.
And go. And action.
Action. Actually, most of this actually make it into the video just because it's fun. So. Anyway, hey guys, it's Hypervega, and I'm sitting here with Wilder Hamm down here at Save Point Games in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we're going to pick his brain and ask him a bunch of random questions. Pretty much the same shit that you probably hear in every other interview, but still, we don't feel special if we can't do it, so. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
We've actually been here for like an hour, hour and a half, just shopping and looking around the store, so we've actually, yeah, so we had to bond, get comfortable, so. Alright, so obviously again, we're at Save Point Games, and this place is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we try really hard to get everything. I mean, you know, appealing to the community of gamers is really the most important thing that we do here, and a lot of that is paying close attention to detail about, like, you know, just everything from gaming aspects, tournaments, you know, the artwork, just bringing character to the scene is really important. So.
Yeah, and you've done that, and there aren't really many areas where you can go, or many stores in the area rather, where you can go and get retro stuff like this. You go to flea markets, or you could go to, like, you know, nitpicking with friends that you might know and stuff like that. But actually coming in and finding something this massive, there's not really anything in the area that does it anymore.
It's true. We hear the same story a lot too. A lot of people have grown up with a lot of these titles, and what happens is they've over the years have gotten rid of them somehow, traded them in, just got rid of them, and they come in this store and they see all this stuff again, and they pick up titles and they're just like, oh man, I haven't played this in forever, and it's just a wonderful feeling to be able to reunite people with these like wonderful memories that they had growing up. So.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so with you saying that, actually, why don't you go ahead and tell us what game it was that actually got you into gaming? And obviously not the first one you played, but which one was like the one where you sat back and you said, shit, yeah, this is it.
Right.
Like, this is my hardcore.
Well, I think I remember I was probably 6 years old when my mom gave me a Nintendo for Christmas one year, and probably about like 20 games. It was a used console from a friend, but it was awesome. And among one of the games that I played was the very first RPG I ever played, and it was Dragon Warrior. And Dragon Warrior really sucked me in, and I mean, it had a steep learning curve, but if you plowed through it, it showed that, you know, that your hard work would pay off. So it was very cool. And to this day, people always ask me, like, you know, what's your favorite Nintendo game? And I don't always say Dragon Warrior, but if it's over there and I'm thinking about it, I usually pick it up and will suggest it to people to at least try it. Yeah.
Oh, well, since you brought it up, what is your favorite game?
My favorite series is the Castlevania series. Favorite game? Gosh, that's really tough. I mean, there's so many titles. It's like saying, like, what's your favorite book, or like, what's your favorite movie? You know, I can't narrow it down to one. So I picked a single series, fortunately. And Castlevania's great. Like, they've been around 20 years. You know, they've done over 20 titles. It's kind of insane. But you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And that's kind of what they've been doing, putting out like a lot of the same games over and over. People keep buying them because they're great. So.
Well, we'll narrow it down and see if we have the same opinion. Favorite Castlevania game, or close to. If you had to choose just one to play permanently, what would it be?
Rondo of Blood on Turbo CD. It's Dracula X is the SNES port of it, but they're completely different games. They're the same title, but the TurboGrafx CD edition has a much better soundtrack. The Vision card is way better. I mean, they are the same game, but they're completely different at the same time. And the price difference between them is really interesting. The Super Nintendo title is probably like $110, and the TurboGrafx one is like 80 or 90, but it's one of the more expensive Castlevania games.
See, mine was Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night is a fantastic game.
Yeah, because it threw in all those RPG elements.
Oh yeah,
with boosting and all that stuff. And yeah, I fell in love with it at that point.
Yeah, and then once you thought the game was over, you know, they turn the castle upside down on you, and you have to do it all over again.
Go all the way back through. Yeah. So when I saw that at first, I was just like,
it's like,
wow.
Like 200%. That's crazy.
Yeah, never been done before.
Right.
All right. So obviously, one of my next questions was going to be what compelled you to open up the retro store, but you pretty much already answered that.
Yeah.
You love for retro and stuff.
Yeah, I used to be a collector. Collecting gets very expensive in the long run because you know, as you start to collect most of the titles, you're only left with the more expensive ones, and video games are very expensive once you get to the more expensive area, like the last couple titles. I mean, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars on them. I've always wanted to have a game store. It's always been a dream of mine. Just because, like, places like GameStop, you know, they're great and all, but like their trade-in policies are pretty rough, and like they don't also carry the old games anymore. And I always tell people it's hard to appreciate today's games if you don't remember where they came from. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that comes out today. I mean, games hold your hands today, you know.
Yeah, they do.
Back in the day, like, you know, Nintendo, it was. You had to figure it out because the games were much shorter. They were much harder. So,
That's where the Nintendo hotline came from, actually. If you remember that,
yeah,
800 number, you would call it. Game
right. It's like
you didn't have the internet then, or game facts or anything.
Yeah,
like
you
that,
had you had Nintendo Power, and if you were fortunate enough to get to like guides or something, or you had to pay $2 a minute to talk to the Nintendo help hotline.
Yeah, and God forbid you had to do that with like Super Mario Brothers or something. It's just like, okay, well, you jump here, bounce here, jump here, and it's kind of like.
I think I remember getting scolded once by my parents because I did ring up like a 30-minute phone call on the Nintendo help hotline, and it was expensive. I think it was for Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 1, and the tips were helpful, but I never ended up beating it because of it.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden was always, and even it's to this day, it's one of those titles that doesn't actually hold your hand, like you said. I mean, there's still a select few, like in today's generation, that is still just massively hard.
I can only think of maybe like 10 titles that I might have actually beaten on Nintendo, like all the way through. I mean, like some of them are fairly easier, but like it takes a lot of practice to get through Nintendo games.
Fester's Quest.
Fester's Quest is a fantastic game.
I don't think I ever finished it.
I don't think I've ever finished it either.
It was so tough.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, really, all the Addams Family games are really fun, especially the one on Super Nintendo is really good too. And then Pugsley's Adventure is really good as well.
Yeah, that was pretty good actually. That was actually a lot of fun. Yeah. So yeah, going to the Super Nintendo too. I think the Super Nintendo had one of the best libraries ever.
Like I said earlier, people always ask me my favorite console, and I do tell them regular Nintendo, but Super Nintendo does have a special place in my heart for like all the time I spent like on like all the RPGs and stuff, because they were much lengthier than the NES titles.
Yeah. Final Fantasy and stuff like that was just really great.
Right.
Chrono Trigger, all that stuff. So. He loves that countdown. All right, so tell me, out of curiosity, I just want to know, what's one of the most obscure games that you've gotten here at the store?
Obscure games. I want to say, gosh, give me a second to think here. Furi Furi Park for Wii. Furi Furi Park is a very strange game. It's very Japanese. It's like Mario Party. There's lots of little mini games, and all the things include like cooking sushi, and you have to like make takoyaki, and it's very random. It's not expensive. It's like a $10 game, and I've only seen one copy since we've been open. But that one's like nobody knows about it. I tell people about it, and they're like.
Yeah, it's the first I've
Yeah, it's very strange, but it's
Marvin's sitting over there with a look on his face like, what the hell?
It's a very, very enjoyable game. You'll play it and you'll have a lot of fun, and at the same time, when you put it down, you'll feel strange for liking it, but it's definitely really fun.
Kind of like DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball. I kind of wish I could delete that from my Xbox game list. I can't, so. Alright, so you also run tournaments here.
Yes.
You run tournaments with Retro, and you also run tournaments with newer titles as well. So tell us about those.
Well, our more popular tournaments seem to be, it's weird because they're kind of even. Like we have a lot of interest in our retro tournaments. I'd say probably our favorite is definitely Mario Kart and maybe Smash Brothers. Those are always on request, and we always have great turnouts for them, usually like 20, 30 people. We've had a couple repeat champions and everything. It's been really cool. For the current generation stuff, we do new releases as well. Like we did Halo 4 when it came out. We did 2v2 for that one, and we had maybe 25 teams in here, and so it was very packed in here. We had 4 consoles up though, running everything. It went real smooth, and only took about maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Nice. And we also try to do. We're gonna start doing some arcade tournaments. Maybe not. For example, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that would be really easy to determine on because it's just a fighting one. But games like Pac-Man and R-Type, something like that.
Like a speed run or something, or score run.
Yeah, do like a high score contest where maybe like you just constantly reward whoever has the highest score for that week, like maybe like $5 store credit or something. So if someone comes in and just sets an amazing score, they can accrue like store credit just from being really good at one particular game. And it kind of keeps people interested in like wanting to like topple that challenge and stuff like that. So it's, and we don't have to pay out a whole lot for it, but it helps pay for the arcade machines and stuff like that. The tournaments that we run in the store though are free to enter, and we always do $25 store credits usually for the winner. Sometimes more if it's like for teams and stuff. And so far so good. We've had great success. It's been really good. Lots of attention, and they don't really help the sales at all in the store, but that's not really why we do it. I mean, we really do it for fun.
And I mean, they are a lot of fun.
It brings a lot of people together who have lots of similar interests, and we see a lot of people leaving, making new friends, which is really cool. Because usually, like last night, for example, with the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament, we had a lot of people meet the Resi players, and now they want to get interested in Resi and like start to participate more, which is excellent, which is what we want. We want more people playing. So.
Exactly. Kind of want the scene to get to grow. And,
yeah.
And I think that's what we're all in it for, obviously. So yeah, I mean that's the end game for the
right.
situation.
For our tournaments, we always have our tournaments pose up with the victor wall over there with their victory yoo-hoos, and people love that. They always comment on the pictures. They're like, "What's the deal with the yoo-hoo?" And it's like, well, I mean, most people when they come in here, I guess they haven't had a yoo-hoo since they probably played a Nintendo game. So you know, they see it and they're like, "Oh man, they got like $1 left in store credit. And grab a yoo-hoo," and they usually do. And
yeah, I saw the picture last night for what was his name? Won the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
Jared Davis. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I saw that on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He was very good. it was really impressive. I like to participate in the tournaments just for fun. Sometimes if we have to fill a slot.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I didn't even want to because I just knew that I'm not like that's a game where like the learning curve. If you're not at a certain level, you can't play competitively, and if you're not there, it's just not fun at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, so, okay, obviously you got your tournament schedule going, right? How often do you actually run tournaments here at the store?
We usually do one week. Sometimes we might miss a week if we're getting backed up or if we just, if it's like a holiday or something. But fairly consistently, we've been doing one a week, usually sometime in the middle of the week. We've done one weekend tournament. We did Pokemon handheld. We gave out badges, we gave out store credit. It was a really good tournament. We had a great turnout for that one. But yeah, usually, like I said, yeah, one a week. And that's been working out well. It's tough for me because I'm always having to think ahead. Like I need to think about next week's tournament, like today, basically, and go ahead and announce it so people have time to clear their schedules, make sure they're going to make it in time and stuff. So.
Okay. Yeah. What tournament do you think you're playing next week?
I was thinking maybe.
Can we get a scoop on that?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Blur. We've been we usually try to cycle through fighting, driving, and first-person shooter games. And we've done some fighting games recently, so people are itching for more driving games. And usually our go-to is Mario Kart, and we've done Mario Kart 64 a lot. We still haven't done Double Dash or the one on Wii, but Blur is a really good game. It's just like Mario Kart, but it's got like Forza, Need for Speed type graphics, and you know, it's a racing game where you can just slam on the gas the whole time. You don't have to hit the brake. You don't have to be good at racing games to play this one, which is fun. You know, that's what we want for tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty accessible. Blur. It was actually a really accessible game for people if you weren't really.
Like I'm terrible at driving games. I love them, but I'm just awful. I just accept that.
No, I am too. Trust me. I'm horrid at fighting games. I don't even try anymore. It's just Gran Turismo and all that stuff. I give it a shot, and I'm just like shit. Well, that was a waste of time. So yeah. All right. So your own personal opinion, what was the most fun tournament that you've had here at the store?
I gotta say Smash Brothers on 64. We had someone last night was mentioning how like the competition scene in Charlotte, like I mean, usually like the first-person shooters and like the racing games, like they're competitive, but it's not like the fighting games. The fighting games, the competition's really there. But with Smash Brothers, everyone was very friendly. They were really cool with each other, shaking hands, you know, like being like goofy and stuff. And it was definitely really fun. Like it was more about the fun that time, I think, than the game, which was great. But like there was still some great skilled players being exhibited there, and we got to see a lot of really cool actions.
Yeah, and actually, fun fact for the year, Smash has been added to Evo this year, so you actually be able to participate or watch in a Smash tournament. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. They had a vote for it. You know, you donate money to cancer awareness or cancer, I don't remember, and then like of course, once you donated like $5 or something, you were able to vote for what fighting game you wanted, and Smash pretty much won out. So. Wow,
that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So, all right, in the future, what game do you think that you haven't done up until this point that you would like to do the most in tournament play?
Ooh, man. Well, it's kind of hard. I'd like to do something that's a little out of the box, but it's
Shaq Fu.
See, we could do a Shaq Fu tournament, and it's funny you say that because we get so much flack for that. Because like I'm a big Shaq Fu fan. Like right here in our Sega section, we've got like a skateboard that's got some artwork on it, and it shows like just some things on it. My friend of mine made that for me, and he loves Shaq Fu as well, and he put Shaq Fu on there.
Yeah, I actually noticed that. I was going to ask you about that next.
Yeah,
some of the artwork.
People come in here, and a lot of the times when they come in, they see the artwork that we have in here. They want to find out like where they can get it. They want to talk to artists because like some of the stuff we have here, like this one is an artist, Raven Wei. She actually works right across the street at UNCC. She's very talented, and she does commission works.
You want to get a shot of that real quick?
Yeah, that's Edea from Final Fantasy VIII, and it's a beautiful picture.
It is.
She also did the Bioshock hands over here above the Xbox wall, which depicts the scene from Bioshock when he first injects the plasmid. Yeah, the plasmids into him.
Yeah, see, that was one of the first things I noticed was that one, and then the Final Fantasy VI over here, because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. It's my favorite series of all time.
Amano is probably my favorite artist, honestly.
I got the Cactuar tattoo. Yeah, so I mean, I love Final Fantasy.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like I have a lot of Amano's like art books at home and stuff like that. Like his concept art for all the Final Fantasy games has just really drawn me in. Yeah, and made me want to just get some of his works and hang it up in the store, because video game art's really interesting to me. Like usually, like when I go to conventions, you can buy video games and stuff. Like you can buy video games pretty much anywhere. Like especially with like the internet being very accessible. Yeah. But the one thing you can't get is original artwork, and that's why like when I go out on adventures to like conventions and stuff, usually that's what I come back with is artwork, because you know art comes in all forms, and it's, you know, they're talented people all over the world, so it's really cool. It
actually shows with the Nintendo consoles up here, which we'll get a shot of. Yeah. We'll get a shot of after the interview. But yeah, you were having a contest, weren't you?
Yeah, we had a contest. We had reached 500 likes on our Facebook page, and we had a whole bunch of these Nintendo lids, just a lid that I had got from a previous lot before, and I'm not really sure like why they were there. They didn't come with the empty bottoms or anything, and it's not like anyone trades in just like the bottom half of a Nintendo. Yeah. So I was trying to figure out I was like, what can I do with all these? And it just kind of dawned on me, because we have a lot of creative people across the street over at the university. It's like, well, if anyone's interested, they can take one of these lids and they can design it for like a month or two, and then we'll hang them up in the store and we'll vote on them, and the winner will win some sort of cool store credit prize. And it's been really interesting to see like the people's like finished products coming back. Some of them are really, really interesting. We've had some. These aren't even actually all of them. We probably gave out maybe 12 of them, and maybe like 10 of them came back. Or I think we gave out maybe 14 of them, and only 10 of them came back. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of concept being talked about the whole time. People were saying silly stuff like, "Oh, it's a Nintendo lid. I'm just gonna paint Sonic all over it," and just like you know, really piss off people. But it was really silly to see that. But like some of the stuff that's come back so far, very cool.
Really good. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Mario one. So again, like I said, we'll get a shot of that for the end of the interview, and then you guys can go ahead and check those out, because they are really interesting. So again, I got my cheat sheet, so don't judge me. You know, that's what happens when you have a really crappy memory. So, okay, so of course we were talking about the artwork, and we were talking about the contest, and we were talking about the feel of the store, because you actually do have a lot of original stuff here. So since we're talking about original, we're talking about the feel. You got your arcade cabinets too. So was that just your idea, just to get a hold of the cabinets and just to offer it, or was that your own personal thing? You just wanted your own cabinets?
I grew up playing in arcades. Like I'm from Raleigh originally, and Raleigh had like, you know, like Adventure Landing, Putt-Putt, places like that where you could like play arcade games, and I loved them. I played tons of them, and I ended up working in two arcades in Raleigh before I moved out this way. And something about the feel of arcade machines, like, you know, they're huge, they take up lots of space, it's one game. Like, I mean, in today's standards, like, people think it's really silly, you know, like, when you can have, like, zillions of games in something like this big, you know? Yeah. But arcades are very special to me. They bring a lot of culture, and, you know, it's just something, it's like an element from the times that you just don't see anymore. Like, arcades are fairly non-existent for the most part. I mean, you have places like Dave & Buster's, and the way they do stay alive is with, like, having a bar, you know, being able to serve alcohol really helps. But for me, it's more about, like, these are games I grew up playing. We had, like, before we had The Simpsons in here, which, you know, Simpsons, X-Men, Turtles, like, those are all, like, you know, right there. Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. I really like them. And we sell them here. A couple of them we don't sell. Like, the X-Men we probably never sell, just because
I surely wouldn't.
It's the staple of our arcade here.
Yeah, that's something I would probably keep in my kitchen if I had one. Definitely. You're making eggs and bacon, and then you're sitting there playing X-Men at the same time.
Right. we had someone actually recently come in. This was actually right before Christmas. Huge X-Men fans, and it's actually a friend of mine who I used to work with at a previous job. Her and her boyfriend came in, and they begged me for the machine, like, please play anything. And I was like, no, I really couldn't do it. Yeah. And so like a week later, she comes in and she asks me, she's like, could you build us one, or could you find us one? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll see what I can do. And it just so happened that before I had fixed the sound on this one, I had ordered a replacement board. But I ended up ordering the wrong board. I ordered a 2-player board instead of a 6-player board. So I was stuck with this 2-player board, and I ended up having just lots of spare parts left over, and I made them a 2-player X-Men arcade. Nice. And we surprised the boyfriend with it, and he was blown away, and they're customers for life now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. Obviously, that's a one-of-a-kind thing. So, yeah. I mean, that's not something that you can just go out anywhere. You could buy. I mean,
right.
Like
we custom made it for them, and they were, like I said, they were very pleased. It was really cool.
Okay, so back to the tournament thing real quick. We just want to go ahead and we want to plug the tournaments.
Yeah.
What night during the weeks do you normally have them?
We usually do them on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We like to change it up because if we did them on the same day every week, there'd always be a group of people who couldn't make it to the tournaments because of prior engagements, work, stuff like that. But usually we'll announce it on our Facebook page like within at least a week, so we can give people enough time to prepare and ask off and get like people to cover for them if they need to. You know.
Okay, so you have the Facebook page, which is Save Point Games. It's just
Save Point Video Games.
Search Save Point Video Games.
Yep, and that's basically just where we do like most of our major announcements. Like our Facebook fans get the 10% discount, and it's also where we post all of our rare finds when we get really cool stuff.
I didn't know about the 10. I should have told you that.
Well, don't worry, you were getting it anyways.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. So yeah. Okay, guys. Here's the deal. Okay, Vicious and I have been here since 11.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And it's now after 1 o'clock. This interview was what, maybe 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes? So that's what we've been doing. We've actually been shopping around. You can pretty much find anything here, okay? Ultima for Nintendo. I picked up Tag Team Wrestling for Nintendo. And this is for the Shaq Fu fans. You know, this is one of the greatest fighting games ever made. Tao Fang, okay? For the original Xbox, okay? Fist of the Lotus. We all know how awesome that game is. So, and then, of course, I got Rumble Roses sitting right there. Vicious made out with some Mega Man stuff, and I mean, you could pretty much find anything here, from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, N64, on up to current gen titles. So, Slay Dragunov, James Dry, you hear me? Shaq Fu tournament.
We'll make it happen.
He's been begging for that. I keep telling him the same thing. I'm like, dude, we'll make it happen, we'll make it happen. And that's why I bought that from here the other day too, Pit Fighter. So you guys need to get down here and check it out. Save Point Video Games, right here in University, off of, what is this, 29?
Yeah, University.
Or 49 rather, I'm sorry. 49 right here?
This is 29 right here, yeah, 49 is right behind it. It's University City Boulevard and Tryon. So.
Okay, cool. So look it up on Facebook, SavePointGames.com. Save Point Video Games, rather. I'm sorry. And we're going to go ahead and kill a little bit more time, probably spending a little bit more money. So, Willard, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
No
and
problem.
yeah, we'll be spending a ton of money in here. So,
Cool, awesome.
Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. All right, so as we promised, here are the Nintendo covers for the Nintendo contest. And as you guys can see, it's just a myriad variety of just a lot of originality and a lot of cool stuff. If you can see the one up top, I'll go ahead. That's my favorite right there. I think that one is pretty cool. And of course, Vicious likes the Mega Man one. So we have our selective tastes. So yeah, that's really, really, really cool.